Hello. In this video, the focus will be on using the Learning Evidence section to document student learning, particularly observations and conversations, as the students work through the maze and Sphero task. This is not meant to be a tutorial on how to use the evidence gathering functionality within the EDSB platform, as those videos are included in the Learning Evidence section of the content. A major consideration of mine when using learning evidence to document student learning, and that's whether it's by taking pictures, videos, or uploading documents, is that I want to make sure that I am intentional with my approach. I am basically looking for opportunities to capture evidence of student learning based on the learning goals and success criteria. I'm asking myself, how is this picture or video of the student going to show me their understanding of the learning goal? This evidence is particularly valuable in capturing and organizing observations and conversations, allowing me to have a more complete picture of student learning. And here are some examples of how this could look. In this site, this is one of our EDSB demo sites that have fictitious student names. So for example, the first student here, Roy Williams, is just a made-up student. So I have an example of Roy working on this Sphero maze activity. And I have a picture of Roy working on the maze. I have also included a document with the learning goals for the task and also the success criteria. It's just something where I chose to do that. I felt it would be helpful to have the learning goal and success criteria attached to the documentation just for easier reflection. I could add some optional curricular expectations to the evidence, and I also decided to add tags, which are words that make sense to me when it comes to organizing this content. So I used geometry, perimeter, coding, angles, and quadrilaterals just as a way to organize this. I added an observation, and again, that's one of the powerful features of the EDSB learning evidence. It's one thing to take a picture or a video or upload a document, but what's happening in this picture or video? What is the teacher observing, and what is the student or what are the students saying, which is the beauty of the conversational piece as well. So in this observation, Roy accurately described the angles in his maze, and he used correct terminology. He does not yet have a clear understanding of the properties of quadrilaterals. And now that I am rereading that and reflecting, that's probably not the best observation I could have made, because right now I'm taking a look at that and thinking, if he does not yet have a clear understanding of the properties of quadrilaterals, I'm asking myself why. What is it about his understanding that shows me that it's not clear? Because there is no note of that. So maybe if I would have added a conversational detail, or instead of a picture, maybe if I would have had a video capture of that, I would have had something documented showing me specifically where the breakdown in understanding was. Just another couple of quick examples. Another fictional student named Mitch, who has been working on his Sphero encoding task. Mitch was able to describe some of the properties of a quadrilateral and explain why a circle did not meet the criteria. And there's also a conversational item down here added to this. So what Mitch actually said about his piece of evidence is, we started with a circle, but that isn't a quadrilateral. It doesn't have four sides and it doesn't have straight lines. That's why we added a rectangle. So by analyzing this piece of evidence, I can tell that Mitch clearly understood the criteria and he was able to correct a misconception or a mistake that he had made. And one last piece of evidence, another one from Charlie. It looks like Charlie was working in the same group as the previous student. He recognized that his original shape was not a quadrilateral, but he had difficulty explaining why. We need to review the properties of quadrilaterals. He added a rectangle afterwards to correct his maze. So again, as I reflect on this evidence, because it's a picture, and because my observation did not go in much detail, it's hard for me to really tell right now why Charlie had difficulty explaining his thinking. So just little things for me to reflect on in my own evidence gathering. As far as how much or how frequently I should be documenting, I guess that's really hard to say. Some days I might capture a lot, other days I might capture very little. Some days I might have a specific plan to document certain students, whereas other times it might be a spontaneous moment that I try to capture. Basically, the way I'm looking at it is the learning evidence is a tool that I can use to capture pictures, videos, observations, and conversations, and use those to inform my next steps for instruction. and possibly even share these with students and parents as part of the student's learning story.